Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in the 2012 Toyota Sienna, and today we're going to be showing you how to install our Android based stereo in your car. It features a 9-inch IPS display. As you can see, it's a huge upgrade over the original stereo. You still have features like Bluetooth radio and Bluetooth music. Your steering wheel controls will still work, and then you can connect this unit to a personal hotspot or Wi-Fi network to use apps like Google Maps, Waze, Spotify, and you have access to the Play Store. This radio features a wireless CarPlay and a wired Android Auto. So we're going to quickly demonstrate Apple CarPlay. Here it is. So it's a way safer way to use your phone while driving. So now we're going to show you how to install our Android stereo into this Toyota Sienna. So the tools that you're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, 10mm socket with an extension, and some sort of panel removal tool. So we're going to start off with our panel removal tool. We're going to open this compartment right here, and we're going to first remove this panel. So we're going to get underneath here. And comes off, so it's only held on clips. And here we have our connection. We're going to use our flathead screwdriver in order to remove it. Next step is to remove our shift lever. So you're going to go counterclockwise. It simply unscrews. Next is this trim piece around the actual lever. Same thing, we're going to get underneath, just like that. And there's one connection here. You can either leave it plugged in, or we're gonna unplug it. You just simply press on the clip and it comes off. Next is this piece under the actual radio. So you can see the clips for it are here. You can kind of get underneath it. And also there's one clip here. I'm gonna clip it and put it to the side. So underneath the radio, you're gonna see 4 10mm bolts. So there's one here, one over there, and then there's one deep over here. So a trick you can use, because the 10mm are so deep, you can take some painter's tape and just put it over your 10mm socket, and then when you're going to be removing them, they're going to be hanging onto the socket for very tightly, so they're not going to fall. So we're going to go ahead and remove these 4 bolts. So now that we removed the 4 bolts, we're going to make sure that the foot brake is on in this car. We're going to press this white button here, and we're going to move this lever down in order for the radio to come out easily. And once the bolts are removed, you can kind of pull on it on both sides, and will come off just like that. So over here we're gonna disconnect all the connections. So first we're gonna remove the antenna, and we're gonna use our flathead screwdriver, and you basically just press on every clip. Just like that. And now we can put the stock radio like this. So there's 2 screws on each side, and they basically hold this radio to the surrounding panel. So we're gonna have to replace it with our Android stereo. So there's 2 here, and there's 2 on this side, 1 there, 1 over here. So now that we remove these 4 screws, they look like this. We're gonna reuse them for Android stereo. So now at this point, you can just unclip the original radio. So now we're gonna take our Android stereo. We're gonna take the same panel, and we're gonna make sure it lines up with all the original connections, original holes, and it kind of clips in. We're gonna go ahead and put these original screws or bolts back. So that's it, we mounted the radio onto the original panel. So as you can see here, you gotta make sure that everything lines up well, and then you can, after you do the connections, you can remove the screen protector. But basically everything just bolts onto the original location. And at this point we're going to put the radio away and do the connections. So now we're going to grab the harness that came with our stereo and we're going to do the connections. So you're going to, everything is plug and play. So you're going to plug in your original connections into our harness and you just pretty much have to match them just like that. So there's going to be some that are left unplugged and some that do not match our harness, and that's okay because this harness is made for multiple cars, so you just gotta do whichever ones match. And then for example here there's an antenna one also, because it's already this type of connection in this car, so you don't have to do our antenna connection. So once you do that, the next step is to run the microphone over here and the GPS antenna, and we're going to show you how to do that right now. So over here we have our GPS and our microphone, and we're going to run them both at the same time from the top to the back of the stereo. So first thing you're going to do is drop down this panel under the radio, so here, and then also closer to the passenger, so you have access. Next you're gonna pull on this weather stripping. We're gonna take our microphone and our antenna and gonna pull back the plastic and bring them towards the top corner over there. Now we're gonna take these two wires and we're just gonna feed them down, and you're gonna take your time and hide them behind the weather stripping, just like that. And our goal is to bring it behind this gray panel, and then we're gonna go behind this metal, behind the steering wheel, and again over there. And now we're gonna continue on the inside. So now we went behind the steering wheel, and again we're gonna go behind this metal bracket right here. And be careful because it's kind of sharp, so you don't want to damage the wires. And our goal is to get these two wires to the back of the stereo. So if you pull back this panel, you're going to be able to kind of feed them here, and then you can use your hand. So I got one, and at this point you can put the panel under the steering wheel back. It simply clips on, and all the wires should be hidden. So we're gonna kind of work our way around here. And if the wire is too long, you can kind of reduce the size and put a cable tie around it, just like that. So the next step would be to wire the USB cables. So over here on the passenger side, you're gonna open the glove box, and over here you're gonna undo this little shock, and you're gonna press on the side of the glove box, just like that, and the glove box drops down. You're gonna see this opening right here. This is where we're gonna take our USB cable and simply pull it through to the back of the stereo, just like that. So at this point you can put the cables back, and once the glove box clips back in place, you're gonna clip back this little shock, and now you have the two USB connections in the glove box. So now that we wired the microphone and GPS, and we also wired the USBs to the glove box, now we can start putting the radio into the car. So we're also gonna attach this Wi-Fi antenna at the back of the stereo. It's marked here where it goes. Then we're gonna take our GPS, which we wired, also screws on the same way. Then we're gonna plug in the microphone. There's also extra connections, for example, if you want to install aftermarket rear view camera or subwoofers, but we're not going to be showing it today in this installation. So just that's what the extra ports are for. Then we're gonna plug in our main harness. Then we're also gonna plug in the original antenna, just like that. And we're gonna take our USB connection. It goes here, just like that. And at this point, you can start putting the radio in. All the wires are going behind and nothing is in the way. Once you do that, you're gonna line up the clips and the radio simply clips in. So now we're gonna take our original controls for the here and so on. These go back in first. Just like that. Next is this piece around the gear selector. And of course the long piece, and make sure not to forget the connection that you're supposed to put back, just like that. And you're gonna work your way down, and at this point you can start testing the radio, and you can peel off the protective screen, and we're gonna show you how everything works. So now we're gonna turn the car on to make sure that everything is working. So once the radio is on, we're gonna simply try to go to radio, and there is sound, so that's good. So we're gonna go to apps, and we're gonna go to the Wilkie app, and over here you can start with resetting everything, and you're gonna press, for example, on volume plus. As soon as you press it, it's gonna come up with this menu, and you just gotta choose what it's for, and it's for volume up. So we're gonna do the same for volume down, and for, let's say, next track, like that. So you gotta do it for all the keys on the steering wheel, and once you're done, you're just gonna simply press save, press OK, and now, for example, the volume, if I do it on the steering wheel, everything works. And so for any other more in-depth features and how to set everything up, we have a separate video showing all the functions and so on. So again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time.